There we go. Yo. What is up, crew? Welcome back to a little agency therapy. Stoked for this one today. We'll let kind of some people join here. I know it's 7:02, so we'll get started pretty quick here because I know everyone's got busy days. Everyone's got shit to do at night, so we'll get it rolling here in just a second. If you guys are in the chat, drop a little comment down. What's up, Bo? Bo Jangles in the freaking building. Yeah, yeet. You love to see it. You love to see it. Hope you guys are having a blessed night so far. We got some people in the building. We got Cam Johnson over there shooting some BTS of BTS, and then Tyler maining the main BTS Cam. So stoked on it. Hope you guys are having a great night so far. Let's kind of talk for a second. So I posted a tweet not too long ago on building an agency from scratch, and I'll pull up the tweet for you guys. Said I was gonna build an agency from scratch, and not like a real agency, just kind of like a pretend agency. But I'm pretty excited about the response that I got from it, and so I started to build out this Twitter thread, and I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do it on Twitter, I might as well do it on the live stream as well, and do it live for you guys. So there's a little bit more explanation on the live stream than there's going to be on the Twitter threads. But this was essentially the Twitter thread that we ran. And it's a continuous Twitter thread. And if you guys aren't following along with this, I would highly recommend that you do it. But we'll do it live here too. This is going to be a multiple stream type of build out. So basically, the tweet that I put out is starting an agency is hard. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be writing a thread under this tweet to show you how I take an agency from pre-revenue to $1 million in 12 months. So like and comment so you can follow along each time that I add on. It got a good response, a little 20K impression tweet. And so I've been just adding on to this tweet ever since, right? And so I just drop a few tweets every day and kind of tell people, hey, this is where my mind goes if I were to start an agency, if I were to start it all over again, if I were to start at zero and have to build a brand new agency, this is exactly what I would do. What's up, Tom? Tom, hope you're doing well, man. So this is how I'd build an agency, right? And so that's what I want to cover today, but I think there's a new level of depth that I can cover specifically on the live stream because one, you guys can of course ask questions as we go along, and we can chat a little bit more about this in depth if you guys have questions as we go along. But I'm going to give just more explanation than I could possibly do in a tweet because obviously tweets have a capacity to the amount of characters that you can put in there. There's a lot of missing information, I feel like, on the tweet side. So with that being said, that's what the next few streams are going to be about. That's what a lot of my content's going to be about over the next probably month or two, is going to be how do we take an agency literally from zero, from startup. And some of this might be a review for some of you that are a little bit more established when it comes to your agency game. Some of you are, pushing on 100K months. But where would I start? And I think there's going to be value along this journey for any stage that you're at in your agency. And even if you're not an agency, this stuff is good business practice that I'm going to be kind of laying foundations for, and what we teach inside of our program, what I teach, people on our consulting calls. These are foundational pieces that every business is essentially going to need in order to scale any type of business. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I've got a nice little Miro board built out already, but I want to take it from square one. I don't want to use stuff that I've already put together. So we're gonna rewrite the entire thing from the beginning. If that's cool with you guys, drop like a couple ones in the chat. Let me know. Let me know if that's cool for you guys. Okay. So we're going to start from square one. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to minimize myself and kind of show you guys how I would build this out. And I'm literally going to build out an entire board. And if you guys want access to this board, just shoot me like a DM somewhere. I'll get you guys access to this board. This is all free information for you guys. Happy to share any of my findings here. Cool. All right, let's dive in. I need a little interaction, right? Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Got people coming in from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We're live across the board today. Absolutely love it. Cool. So let's jump in. Share my screen here. That way you guys can see exactly how this crazy mind of mine works. Okay. So It starts off with a skill set, okay? As any great agency does. Everyone starts as a great practitioner, specifically in something, in some sort of craft, right? And so if I zoom out on my skill sets, and these are kind of, I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of pretend skill sets. These are, I would say I'm probably pretty novice at most of these things on this list, but at the end of the day, this is a pretend agency, but this is how I would do it if I were to jump into the agency game again. So these are all things that I can do. I'm not incredibly great at them, but if I had to hedge my bets, this is probably where I would start. Okay. So my skills, Josh's skills, starts off with video editing. Guys, I can crank on some videos. Okay. And I don't even do it from my computer. I do it from my iPhone. I edit straight on my iPhone and I just crank on edits. I'm actually really good at it. I used to do it back in the agency day when we first started a little app called Luma Fusion. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it is gangster. Okay. But video editing, I can crank on video edits all day, baby. Okay. The other thing is video production. Okay. I'm actually pretty crafty with a camera. And once again, like I'm pretty awesome with a iPhone, but I can get behind a little DSLR, crank some photos, crank some video, right? Tanner, you like that music intro? Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man. I will recommend which apps that I'm using, okay, as I go along with this. So, these are all very beginner. If you guys are taking it up a next level on like video production, obviously Premiere, Lightroom, all those pieces going to be your Adobe suite is going to be what you want to roll with. But for me, it was always LumaFusion inside of the old App Store, Apple App Store. Okay, the gangster platform. Okay, but video production as well. Okay, copywriting, website design, and Facebook ads. Okay. So when I would start an agency, those are the first things that I would essentially think about. Are what are my skill sets? What am I good at doing? What could I potentially, where could I potentially deliver value for a client? Right. So that's something to think about there. Tyler, will you shut my door for me? Yeah, thank you, brother. So that's essentially where we're going to be starting, right? Facebook ad buying, okay, website design, copywriting, video production, and video editing. Okay. Now, that's a pretty broad scope of different services that I would potentially offer to people. So, how do we exactly narrow this down? How do we turn this into an agency model? Okay. Well, we have to design something called our niche shell. Okay. I'm going to show you guys what this kind of looks like here. Okay. Boom. Just dropping it right in here for you guys. Okay. So, what am I known for specifically? That's where we're going to start. Well, I guess I'm really known for my video production and video editing. Okay. Once again, fake scenario here. I'm not actually known for that stuff. But okay, if I were to run this all over again, okay, well, that's what I'm known for, right? Video production and video editing. And that's what you have to pull out of this. You have to pull these specific skill sets out in order to do what you're known for. Okay. So that's the first puzzle piece. Okay. And we have to start there. So mark down what it is that you're specifically known for. Okay. After that, we have to ask ourselves the question, what am I best at? Okay. What am I best at? What are my skills that I can deliver at a high level? Okay. Because it might not be what you're known for. And those things might be video editing, copywriting, right? Two really important pieces that we might feel that we are best at. Okay. And then lastly, what do I really enjoy doing? That's the last piece of the puzzle. What do I enjoy doing on a regular basis that I can deliver at a high level for other people? Okay. What do I enjoy doing? And for me, it's copywriting and video production. And when we start to design this niche shell, our goal is to fall right in this little diagram here. Okay. Right in the middle. Okay. So we match what we're known for, we match what we're best at, and we match what you really enjoy as an entrepreneur. Okay. And I'm going to make a little X here and we're going to mark that little center lane. Okay. Because that's what we're best at, right? And so we want to fall somewhere in here. Okay. That's the goal. Okay. To fall somewhere in that middle aspect. If that's making sense so far, let me know. What up, Kevin? Good to see you, bro. Love to see all the people in there. Dang, this might be one of the most viewed streams we've had so far. We got 7 people in here so far. Yeah. Holy. Holy. You love to see it. Okay. So those 3 pieces, really important. What am I known for? What am I best at? What do I actually enjoy doing? Okay. Once we answer those questions, we can go ahead and advance further into our niche shell. Okay. There's a second aspect of the niche sell. Okay. And it comes down to the opposite side. So it's not about us. It is now becoming about the clients. Okay. Now becomes about the clients. So let's talk about that for a second. Boom, right here. Okay. Let me see if I can bring this over the right way. There we go. There it is. Okay. So who do I enjoy working with on a regular basis? Right. And maybe the answer to that, and my answer is at least, well, I really enjoy working with ambitious people. I enjoy working with entrepreneurs. I love working with people that have an underdog story. Okay. Those are people that I really enjoy working with on a regular basis. Okay. And you have to ask yourself that question as you go along here is who do you actually enjoy working with and who do you want to deliver a result for? Okay. Who do you want to do maybe some video editing for, some copywriting for, video production, right? Copywriting, all those pieces. Who can we deliver that for? And then once we answer that question, we can go ahead and move into the next piece. Okay. And we're going to make another diagram over here, which is what unique problem can I specifically solve? Okay. Well, with the skill sets that we laid out over here on this diagram, well, we can solve creating organic content. And maybe it's organic short form content to be even more specific than before. Okay. So organic short form content. That's the problem that we can solve for people, right? Because that actually solves some problems. People need organic short form content, right? Our boy Osman Torres, right? Solving everyone's problem with organic short form content. I don't know if he's here. Oz, if you're in the building, let me know. Dan said, think of them as a person or as a niche industry also, question mark. What do you mean by that, Dan? Elaborate on that question a little bit more and hopefully I can answer it for you. Um, think of them as a person or as a niche slash industry also. I think as I go through this a little bit more, the picture is going to become really clear. Okay. And then after that, you guys, we have one more little piece to this. Okay. Which is who do I know that I could currently solve this problem for? Okay. Who are some ambitious entrepreneurs, people that have an underdog story that I could solve this problem for? And I dropped some examples down here. We got Mr. Nick Shackelford, Dara Denny, Chase Diamond, Nick Crowell, right? Or Nicole Crowell. Okay. All people that have, a little bit of an underdog story. Okay. And that we could solve this problem for. We can create organic content for these people, right? We could reach out to them, see if they're interested in getting some organic content made. No problem. Okay. And then once again, we want that niche to fall right into here. Okay. Boom. Right in that middle piece. Okay. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to solve a unique problem. We're looking for someone who we enjoy working with. And then who do we personally know that would potentially take part in this immediately? Okay. So all pieces that become really important when it comes to building out our niche shell. So hopefully that's making sense so far. If that's making sense, drop some love in the chat. If you got questions, drop them there as well. Happy to answer anything that you guys got. Okay. Now, the last piece here of our niche shell is how can we refine this? How can we make it even more niche, more focused? And why do we want to go more focused exactly? Well, the reason that we want to go more focused is the more broad of an industry that we are in, the more of a commodity it becomes, and the more difficult it is to have a unique selling proposition. A unique selling proposition becomes so important for us. And so for me, my agency that I'm building, what can I cut and refine from our niche shell? I'm just gonna cut the men out, right? I'm just gonna create content, organic content for the females, right? The underdogs, the female entrepreneurs that are ambitious and need some organic content, right? Like how gangster would that be? Is that, you have a creative agency that creates organic content strictly for female entrepreneurs. That's a niche positioning. Okay. That's going to give you an edge when it comes to selling your service versus an agency that just creates content for everyone. Okay. And if you don't think that you can scale an agency with that refined of a niche to $1 million per year, I think you're crazy. And I think being that defined in that niche is going to get you a lot further, a lot faster. Okay. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Hopefully I'm not losing anyone. I need some affirmation here. Bo, is this making sense? Kevin, is this making sense so far? Now, this is a little bit difficult to do, but think about this from, let's say, a stance of ecom. So specifically, let's take Kevin Thompson, who's in our group right now. Okay, Kevin Thompson serves e-commerce brands, and essentially how he could refine his niche even further is picking a few e-commerce brands that he really excels at. Maybe he really excels at supplement brands, which I don't think anyone actually excels at supplement brands, but let's say supplement brands is uh where Mr. Kevin Thompson absolutely crushes. Okay. So if Kevin absolutely crushes in supplement brands, well, man, like there's a lot of supplement brands out there, right? What if he was specialized with just supplement brands? It would crush it, right? And he'd be able to deliver a higher result because that's more systemizable. That's easily scalable because he's only serving one type of brand. And I always use this. I always use the example of my good friend Aaron Nospish's agency of Lucid. If you guys aren't familiar with We Are Lucid, they serve conscious compound, THC, or not THC, conscious compound and CBD brands, and that's all. That's it. It is a very refined niche that they jump into. Okay. And that's why I'm going so niche specifically on this example of we're just going to serve the female entrepreneur, right? Is because that niche shell becomes even more refined and we can go even deeper on it. Kevin said, I wish it was subs. I'd be mega rich. Hell yeah, bro. Footwear does the job though. There you go. Right. Exactly. So, at the end of the day, like there are a lot of footwear brands out there. And if you become the best at it and become known for it, like Kevin, you're the feet guy now, right? You're the feet guy. That's too funny. All right, so let's pause for a quick second here. Got a couple questions in the chat. Phazon? Is that how I say it? I think that's how I say it. What platform do you think are the best to advertise on in 2023 for the best brand exposure and growth? So brand exposure and growth, man. I mean, there's a lot of different platforms, right? And they all work. I mean, it just has to be matched with the right strategy or the right volume. Okay, but in my opinion, I don't think like Facebook ads are dead. I think Facebook ads are alive and well, but you need a well-rounded strategy. Like Facebook ads isn't just the thing anymore, right? You see a lot of agencies gravitating towards this, and if you kind of look at some of the larger agencies in the space, your four medias, your structured socials, your uh, uh, who else? Who else is in the space that I'm thinking of? Well, let's just use those two examples, right? They're well rounded in their advertising efforts. It's not a singular channel that they're using, right? They're taking more of an omni channel approach to it. And it doesn't mean that you have to be on every channel, but they do a little Google and YouTube ads. They do a little bit of retention marketing through email and SMS. Okay, so they have a very well rounded aspect to their agency. So that becomes really important for you guys. If you are getting into, say, e-commerce, you need a well-rounded aspect to your marketing strategy. So as far as like best platforms, I'm actually not actively practicing, especially in ecom anymore when it comes to marketing efforts. Our biggest marketing efforts come on the service-based industry side. So specifically, us, it would be lead generation for digital marketing agencies. So that's where we spend a lot of our time now. We're kind of out of the e-commerce game. So if you're talking specifically on e-commerce, there's people that are way more knowledgeable than me on that. Currently, I've been removed for roughly 2 years now. But from a outside perspective, and what a lot of our clients are currently doing, everyone's taking a pretty well-rounded approach when it comes to their strategy. And if they're not doing it in-house, they're outsourcing it to other agencies, right? So if you're only running Facebook ads, doesn't mean stop running Facebook ads or add a bunch of new services in. Just get some good partnerships in place, right? Get a good email team that owns an agency in place. Get a good partnership with maybe a creative studio. All right. So Omni is the way. Dan knows, right? Omni is the way. So you got to be well rounded. Okay. Bo. Bo's from Weekend Digital, guys. They're very well rounded agency. You want to say hi to Bo real quick, Tyler? Come here. Come say hello to him.
Wait, can the other Tyler get in this too?
Yeah, get in here.
What's up, Bo?
Hi, Bo.
Hey, Bo, we miss you.
We all miss you,
Where's
Bo. He's right here. He said omni-channel approach for sure.
A whole production team right here to the right.
Yeah. All right. Get the fuck out of here now. Go. All right. So let's go keep moving down our route here. Yeah, but wait, what Bus say? Hi, Tylers. All right, so let's keep moving down our niche here. And here's the thing, guys. Why is it important to stay focused? And I think these graphs are going to show you guys a really good aspect of this. Of why is it important for us to stay focused in our niche? Why not go after the cash? Why not go after the opportunity at hand? Why do we say no to things outside of our niche? Okay. Well, it's speed, right? When you're really focused on one thing, you can go faster than being focused on a lot of things, right? And if you guys have ever read the book Essentialism by Greg McCown, this graph is specifically in there. Oh man, this is going to be difficult to grab. We're going to try it again here. All right. So if you've ever read this book before, you'll notice that this graph is in here. Okay. Messing it up. All right, there we go. When we have lots of different services, our attention gets spread in a lot of different directions and we go a little distance across those directions, right? So not a lot of progress. These are all the niches that you serve. These are all the different services that you provide, right? Just distractions. But when you get really dialed in, when you get really focused, specifically on one niche and going a mile deep on it and being the best in your craft at that specific niche, well, you have focused energy and you go a lot further, a lot faster, right? And so if you guys are if the goal is speed to $1 million, if the goal is to get there within 12 months, which is relatively quick for an agency, well, then the focus has to be very dialed in. And you can't do a bunch of things because it's just going to complicate it. Because $1 million takes team, takes infrastructure, okay, takes systems. And when you're systemizing a business, the more niches that you serve, the more uh, types of services that you have, well, that's more systemization that you're going to need in order for your team to fulfill on that specific service. So it becomes a lot more difficult versus just serving one specific clientele and then having maybe like 1 to 2 different services. Kevin, see you, brother. Hope you're doing well, man. Love you. I'll see you in the Slack channel later. So, questions so far. Kind of elementary information, maybe for some, maybe groundbreaking for others. Okay. But has to be covered at the beginning. Otherwise, it's not gonna scale the way that you want to, right? So if the goal is to actually get to $1 million per year, this is the route that we need to take. Okay. In my opinion. Okay. There's other people that have probably taken different routes and have had an equal amount of success, but this is what would work for me, right? And this is how I would do it if I were to do it over again. So hopefully that's making sense so far. Let's recap for a quick second here. So we're starting with skill sets. So I have a specific skill sets that I then bring into a niche shell. Okay. What I'm known for, what I'm best at, what I enjoy. Okay. From there, I talk about who do I enjoy working with? What's the unique problem I can solve? And then who do I know that I could solve that problem for? And then I refine it. I cut stuff out and I refine my niche shell. In this example, we cut men out of the equation and boom, just like that. We're starting to build our niche. We're starting to build our positioning. Already, I'm thinking of all the different ideas, what I can name my agency, all of the offerings that I could have within my agency. And then from there, we have to have the understanding that lots of different services, lots of different niches is just a slow way to growth. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. Okay. It can work, but it's a slower route to growth than one niche, really focused, goes fast. Right. Sweet. Seems like you guys are aligned. If you have questions, drop them in. Drop them in. Okay. Now, my partner Nicholas dropped this incredible resource on Twitter. Incredible resource. And I'm going to go through it with you guys on this call. And this will be kind of like the last little aspect of the live stream. And then we'll pick up next week for the additional pieces. Okay. So let's bring it in real quick. If you guys didn't get this resource, one, you can find it on Nicholas's Twitter, Nicholas Kirchner. Got to give him the plug. Okay. You can go check him out on Twitter. But I'll cover it here with you guys because I think it's so good that you guys should have it. And if you guys stay until the end of the stream, I will share this link with you guys inside of the chat. So you can get all of this information, and I will give it to you 100% for free, and you guys can jam on this and have access to it and bring it into your system as well. If you guys are wondering what software this is called Miro, by the way. I'm pretty sure you can set one up for free. I'm not affiliated by any means, but I use it all the time. This is where I do all of my like business planning. This is where I do all my mind mapping, brain dumps. Like this is like my little sandbox that I like to play in and just build stuff, right? And just have some fun with it. So if you guys are curious, Miro is how it goes. Yo, Sudsy in the building. What up, bro? Yeah, Cam's here right now. They all left me though. They all walked out of the room. They're all doing their own thing. So I just apparently got boring. So hope you're doing well, brother. Faison, when trying to scale, how do you increase your team? How to hire employees for your agency, working out payroll, etc. So let's bring that up on the screen for a quick second. So when trying to scale, how do you increase your team? How do you hire employees for your agency, working out payroll? So yeah, let me go through that real quick, and then we'll jump into this last little resource that Nicholas built. And I can give you a really good idea of what this looks like, right? So when it comes to, it's funny, I've had multiple people ask me this over the last couple of days. So I will do my best to draw this out, but this is going to be like kind of like a raw drawing here because I'm using a mouse for it. Let's see here. Is that long enough? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to draw this out. It's going to be very crude, but I think it'll get the point across really well for you. Okay. So we're answering this question, then we'll jump back into like the main part of the training because I want to make sure I answer you guys' questions as we're going along here. Okay. So when it comes to hiring, when it comes to increasing your team, okay, there's a couple things that we have to take into consideration. So we're going to draw out a graph here. Okay, once again, this is going to be really crude. I'm sorry, it is like impossible to draw. If I had my iPad out right now, I could do this on my iPad, but I'm just going to do it on mouse just for sake of speed. Now, growth. So this is going to be, oh shoot, got to make this time here. Okay, so this is going to be time. So we're going to just draw T here, T for time. And then this is going to be R for revenue. Okay. So time and revenue. Time, the way we think our agency works, or at least the way that we wish it works, and I wish that it worked this way, and I wish my business worked this way, is that we think that we just see this linear line of growth, right? Revenue just increases forever and always, right? Wouldn't that be nice? But not always the case. And well, actually really never the case unless you're just incredible at business, then hey, coach me and tell me your ways, right? But normally what we see is ebbs and flows in business, right? So, essentially, let's bring it back here. So essentially what we see is kind of waves that happen like this, right? We see some ebbs and some flows and some ebbs and some flows and some ebbs and some flows. If that looks familiar to you guys, let me know, right? Because this is familiar to me. Drop it in the chat if this is something that you guys see on regular cadence with your agency. Okay, so revenue, we'll hit some peaks and then we'll dip down a little bit, and then we'll hit some new peaks and then we'll dip down a bit. Okay, very normal, but makes hiring really difficult, right? Like, you hire for some of these peaks and like, what the heck? Like now we don't have the revenue to support our new hires. So I'm going to teach you guys how to kind of plan for this. Okay, so at the peaks, that's when we normally think we should hire, right? These are new workload capacities. Everyone say workload capacity with me. Okay. Up here. Okay. New workload capacities. Okay. Because they're at the peaks. I totally missed that, by the way. Whoop. Okay. So those are workload capacities right there. And actually, let's do this. I want to have some fun with this. I want to make it a different color. Okay. These are new workload capacities at the top here because these are new clients coming on board. Why do I keep missing that last one? That's so funny. All right. Okay. New clients come on board. That means more revenue into the business. So we see the increases in revenue, but that also means workload increases, which puts pressure on the team. We start to hit that workload capacity, and then we start to feel, the squeeze of fulfillment. Oh my gosh, can I actually fulfill for all of these clients, right? Can be tough. So with that being said, what do we do during this time? Do we hire people? Because what happens if we hit an ebb here, right? What happens if we hit a downturn after we just brought on more team to fulfill for these clients? Well, I can put some pressure on you, right? If your cash positioning is not in the right place, you might have to fire that person. Okay. So, and we don't want to do that, but there is kind of like a foolproof way that you can get around it. And I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. So during these times, this is a great point. Let's do a different color. I'm feeling colorful today, guys. Let's do this green one here. At these points here, these are great times to bring on. I'm going to draw a C there. That's a C, by the way, if you guys were curious. These are great times to bring on contractors. Okay. Why do we bring on contractors during these times? 1099 employees. Why do we bring on contractors during these times? Well, we're not sure if we're going to be able to hold this capacity for a long term, right? We could see a drop in revenue the next month. And if we bring on a W-2 employee, well, chances are that's not going to be helpful for us because we're going to lose some of that capacity, right? And so we normally want to hire contractors or 1099 employees during this time or wait out until we see that this is long-term revenue. Okay. Now, if this is revenue that you know is long-term, then I think it's okay to hire at these times. And what you have to do is you really have to look at your contract lengths and see how much predictable cash flow do we have into the future to support these new hires, right? And if you have 3 to 6 months future cash flows, well, chances are you're going to continue to hopefully grow and not lose clients, right? But if you wanted to play it really safe, you'd bring on 1099 employees. And if that work disappeared one day, then hey, we don't need that 1099 work anymore. And as if someone's a contractor, they understand that if the work dries up, then hey, they have to go find other work. That's what contractors do. That's what 1099 employees do. But if we continue to see growth, then eventually we can bring those people on as W-2 employees. Now, my biggest recommendation is normally we want to measure a little bit of pipeline, okay, in order to do this. But during these points here, these next upswings, it's almost like you're trading stocks. That's what it feels like to me. Okay. During these upswings here is when we want to bring on usually our W-2 employees. Okay. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. So when you're starting to see these upswings again in revenue, these are where I like to bring on W-2 employees. W-2. I told you this is going to be a crude drawing. I apologize that it's ugly. Okay. So that's when we want to bring on the W-2 employees, right? Because we're kind of setting these new foundations of revenue that we're not going to dip back below, right? Because if you notice, and this isn't always the case, right? There's always, steeper down drops. There's always steeper inclines, right? Throughout our revenue flow. But usually a pretty safe bet that we're not going to dip back below this point, right? But a lot of it ties back to being able to project future cash flows for the business. So take a look at your agreement lengths. Really important to do that. And then also pay very close attention to your pipeline, new deals coming through. Okay. You guys should know how many leads that you're tracking every month, right? You should be able to project that out. How many of those are getting into book calls? So leads coming in into book calls, and then book calls that actually show up. If you're not tracking your show rate, track your show rate. Okay, good practice because you got to know, from your book calls, how many people actually show up and then how many pitches you actually give. Okay, so how many of those are actually going to be qualified leads that you can pitch? And then how many deals do you win? So your close percentage, right? That all becomes really important for you to be able to figure out, hey, how do we scale our team? How do we increase team capacity? And how do we project into the future? So if your data behind your business or behind your agency is really bad and you're not tracking these data points, then it's going to be really hard for you to figure out, hey, should we hire someone? Should we, do we have the capacity to do this? Right? It feels like we do, but I'm not sure. This is how you become sure of those things. Okay. So Faison, hopefully that's helpful. I tried to do my best to explain that as well as I could with a little bit of a drawing here. A very ugly drawing, but regardless, hopefully that's helpful. So if that was helpful, let me know. Yo, Alyssa, what's up? Hope you're doing well. I see those stories. Alyssa, we need to go to church sometime. I love some church, man. It's always a good time. All right. Feeling fired up. Innova Digital. What up? He said, yo, in the building. All right. Let's keep chugging along here. Back to the main aspect. Okay, so this is a little side tangent for those of you that are just joining us. Little side tangent. let's get back to the main piece. If you guys missed the beginning part, I'm sorry. I mean, you're late. That's what happens. But you can go back. That's what's great about this. You can rewind and go back and rewatch it. But what I want to talk about is this awesome resource that my partner Nicholas Kirchner built out. If you guys don't know Nicholas or don't follow him, you should go follow him. Okay, Kirchner is a very unique name. It'll be really easy to find him. Okay, so let's chat about it for a second, because really the next piece is building out positioning for our agency. This becomes one of the most important pieces, and one of the starting elements of starting any agency is building out a strong market leader positioning. Call it an MLP, or market leader positioning. And if you're positioned poorly within this space, you're gonna have a hard time selling your stuff. Okay. Yeah. Gonna have a hard time selling your stuff. Okay. So got to be positioned right, have to be a market leader. And that's why niche is so important. That's why we covered niche first, because that turns you into a market leader. And without it, you're just a generalist. We're looking to build specialists that can charge a high price point for a specific skill set that serves a specific type of person. Right. And when we can do that, you can hike up those price points and you can become a specialist. Right. So how to think about your positioning in your agency. Okay. Well, as Nicholas says here, positioning is a lot more involved than what's in this document, but this document is designed to point in the right direction, right? So what does positioning mean exactly? Well, we kind of talked about that, right? Positioning is, about crafting a unique and compelling brand identity that sets you apart from your competition. That's essentially it. Okay. Holy cow. We got 10 people in here right now. That's wild. You guys are making me nervous. All right. So that's the positioning aspect. You guys have to be positioned. And why is it important? Well, it's going to help you guys define that unique selling proposition, as we said before. And without it, it is going to be really difficult for you guys to sell your stuff, because you're just going to be some noise amongst everyone else. Because guess what? In this specific example, everybody creates organic content for entrepreneurs. Everyone does it. But what if we did something slightly different, where it was entrepreneurs that were female and had an underdog story? Well, shoot, that's a unique position. That's something people buy into. Okay. So think about that in your positioning. And it's like, oh yeah, we run Facebook ads. Okay. Yeah. So does everyone else. Right. I could run Facebook ads. Doesn't mean I'm going to be any good at it. Right. So you have to have that unique positioning. And if you don't have that unique positioning, you're going to get outbid and out talented by agencies that do have that unique positioning. Okay. So let's keep pushing along here. I need to learn how to navigate Miro better. All right. So how can you position your agency? Well, once again, we have to develop a clear and compelling unique selling proposition, USP. We love a good USP. So how do we find it exactly? Well, there's a couple things that we need to drill down into, okay? Your USP, once again, comes back to what we already built out. So here we go. Like, we already did this stuff. What your customers want, what you do well, while avoiding what your competitors do well and what you don't, right? So we don't want to necessarily go toe to toe with our competitors that are doing something better than us. Okay. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're kind of playing in our own circle. Okay. In our own specific niche. And you're always going to have competitors, right? But if you can have the unique selling proposition down, you can outbid a lot of your competitors, because there's a lot of people that do organic content, as our example, organic content for entrepreneurs, right? But I've yet to hear of an agency that does organic content specifically for female entrepreneurs that have an underdog story. That's unique. That's going to sell. Okay. Now, make a list of the following 3 things: what your customers want. Okay. Got to have that crystal clear picture of your avatar, their beliefs, desires, and struggles. And then this is going to make it much more powerful and not watered down. Okay. And so, helpful questions here. If you guys need these helpful questions, okay, what problems do they need to solve? So for us, it would be specifically around creating consistent content that is positioned the right way, that supports their brand well. Okay. Just like it would be for a more broad agency. But here's the thing: is we got that niche, right? We got something very specific. Alyssa said, so dope. I agree, Alyssa. It's so dope. Okay. And then, what are the emotions these problems are causing them to feel? Okay. And this is where that unique selling proposition comes in. Okay. Is the emotional side. What pain points are they feeling? Okay. That's going to be really important for you guys as you continue to kind of build out an avatar. And we'll talk about that in the next one. We'll talk about avatar. We'll actually build out one live for you guys. Okay. And so you can see the action that actually goes into avatar building. And then what stopped them from already solving the problem. And that's where, on a sales call, man, how powerful is it when you can figure out all the things that they've tried before? They've tried it themselves. They tried hiring contractors. They tried hiring an internal team, and it just hasn't worked so far. So what have you tried in the past? And once we could figure out that pain point, dang, like that becomes powerful because we become the solution at that point, and it becomes a no-brainer. Because everyone knows they need organic content. Everyone knows that they should be posting organic content. Hence why I'm sitting here right now at 7:42 p.m. on a freaking Thursday night shooting content. Everyone knows that they need to do this. But then some people need some help, right? Some people need some guidance along with it. Okay. So those are a few questions that you can ask to kind of start dialing in that avatar. And then from there, what do you do well? Okay. And we already talked about this. This is that zone of genius. So we already built this out for our specific agency, but I just want to harp on it one more time that you guys have to be better at your craft than anyone else. People have to feel that you can deliver a result that no one else can deliver. And if you can do that, Dan coming from Brazil, you're wild, brother. Well, nice to see you, man. Have a good night. Hope to see you back next week. Okay. Watch the rest of the recording later. It'll be on YouTube. Okay. Goes immediately on there. And then what can you do in your sleep? That's highly valuable. And then the last question there. What do you outlearn everyone else on? And I don't know what the rest of this says, but it says something. So let's scroll down just a little bit. Skirt. Okay. And where does your attention naturally go? Okay. So you got to find that zone of genius, guys. If you're operating, Dan, you're the man. He said, I'm letting it run, giving me that watch time, baby. I'm trying to get to that monetization amount of hours. I think it's like 5,000 hours or something ridiculous. So, hey, man, we're getting there. We got 6 people in here right now. Been watching for like 50 minutes. You guys are wild. Okay. So, guys, you got to dial in that zone of genius. And if you're operating outside of your zone of genius, if you're offering something to your clients that you know for a fact that you're not good at, you're doing a disservice, one, to your clients. In my opinion, that's low integrity, but you're also doing a disservice to yourself because you're not growing your business as fast as you could be, focusing on the things that you're great at. Okay. And then the third piece here and the last piece, what do your competitors do well? If you just answered the first 2 questions, we'd likely end up with something similar to our competitors. So make sure the end result is unique to your selling proposition. And that's where, for me, it's like, hey, we talked about how do we niche down just a little bit further? How do we get just a little better positioning than people that are doing something similar to us? And there's some questions there. Okay. What does our competition beat us at? What are the gaps in our competition offering, competition's offering or structure? What do our competitors do that we don't want to do? Okay. So those questions become really important and we want to steer clear of some of those pieces. And then once we answer those pieces, okay, we continue to build that stuff out. Okay. But once we've answered those things, put your statement through this analogy, which I love this analogy. Now I'm going to read it for you guys because I think it's super gangster. Okay. It's the old restaurant analogy. So you got to imagine you're a restaurant wanting to stand out in your local market at the lowest level of positioning. Everyone is relatively the same thing, a commodity, easily accessible, affordable. Okay. Every restaurant is a restaurant, no matter how fancy or how good the food is. We don't have a way of knowing what we're going to get unless stated. Okay. We as a customer can't make a great decision about what we're looking for. All we know is that we're hungry. Okay. Think about it like this. Do you want to be the restaurant that is defaulted to when there's no other option? When there's no specialization, we're unable to charge any sort of premium for our food. We're not exceptionally good at any specific. So our perceived value is low. So for example, McDonald's. Okay. And we don't want to be here. Guys, you do not want to be the McDonald's of agencies, right? Nobody wants to be a generalist agency. And don't get me wrong, McDonald's is good though, like low key McDonald's slaps a little bit. But guys, you don't want to be the McDonald's of agencies. I can tell you right now. I've seen a lot of McDonald's agencies. They aren't very happy with their jobs. You ever seen a McDonald's employee, right? They are not happy to be there. Okay. And I'm sorry if someone's in here that works at McDonald's, right? But majority of people that work at McDonald's are not happy, right? So you don't want to be a McDonald's employee. You don't want to run a McDonald's business. Okay. So how do we take it to the next level? Well, we have 3 levels of positioning here. And that's level 1. So we don't want to be on level 1. And we don't want to necessarily be on level 2, but my assumption is most of you are on level 2, but I feel like we could take it potentially to level 3. Uh Faison said, what'd you ask here, man? The thing is, how do you assure your clients you are better than your competition? Say it's a higher end client, what do you show them or create assurance? Yeah, man. So a lot of it comes down to, one practice, right? You got to be able to deliver the result that you say you can. So that becomes important. And then from there, building out things like case studies, getting testimonials from those people so it backs your claims for what you can actually do. Right. So that becomes your unique angle in the marketplace is once you have the niche, once you have these unique selling propositions, well, then you can go ahead and utilize a lot of your success to be able to bolster your claims, right? So if you want to land those high end clients, chances are you're going to need some good social proof to go along with it. People have to believe that you can deliver that specific result that they're looking for. So that creates assurance. Okay, and a lot of it's confidence as well, conviction of your ability to deliver those things. And when we lack conviction is normally when we know that we can't deliver for that specific service, right? And when we're a little bit more broad and we're a little bit more generalist, those things tend to happen. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that answers the question. Let me know if I didn't answer the question for some reason. Okay. And then Bo said, piggybacking off Faison, what if we have no historical relevance, no case studies? Ooh, such a good question. I love this. So yeah, we all start here, right? We all start here. So big fan of going directly to maybe like family and friends first. Like, hey guys, like run in the studio, uh, you know, create some free content for you in return for some case studies, right? So that'd be a good place to start. Okay. Start doing some cold outreach, Josh's favorite cold outreach, right? Reaching out to people. Hey, run in the studio. Okay. Want to produce some free content for people or take it a step further, produce that free content or, and it really only works in the content scenario, but produce that free content for someone, and just drop it on their doorstep, DM it straight to them. Hey, produce some content specifically for your brand, right? If you're e-commerce specifically, if you guys are like ad buyers or something, well, yeah, you got to get a little scrappy. Okay. You got to find some maybe beginner brands that maybe don't have a huge budget and you got to crack it. Okay. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts at 0. It's the people that get a little scrappy and can put a little time, a little extra effort in. Okay. Give people the opportunity to work with you for free sometimes or a very low retainer in order to get those first results. Because without results, it's going to be really tough for you guys to land some of the bigger brands because they want to work with more established companies. They're not afraid to spend the 5K, 10K, 20K retainers to get the result that they want. Okay. So keep that in mind if you guys don't have case studies. Okay. Got to get a little scrappy. And it might suck for a minute. You might have to do some free work. That's part of the game. It's part of the agency game. Okay. But you do some cold outreach. Okay. And some people ask for case studies, some people don't, right? You might get lucky and someone takes a shot at you. Okay. So that's a good piece. But also, Bo, as an example here, you've worked in an agency for X amount of years. You've worked with plenty of clients that have done extremely well. You're allowed to use those results. Now, you might not be able to name the client specifically, but you can still use those results of like, hey, like we've managed, X amount of clients at this amount of ad spend. That's experience for you, right? Because you know how to do it. You know how to do it at a high level. So you can utilize those. And I know a lot of people that came from other agencies that utilize the results and even utilize those brands under their portfolio because they're the ones that work directly on those brands. So hopefully that's helpful. Yes, sir. All right, cool. So level 2 positioning. Okay. So using a restaurant example for this one as well, the next level, the even better level of positioning is where we might be able to say we're an Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, or Mediterranean restaurant, which my pick there, of course, would be a Mexican restaurant. Okay. Now we can see that someone can actually make a a conscious decision on wanting to eat at a specific genre of food, we might have some specific menu items they like, and we're specialized enough that you can meet that people know what they're going to get and an expectation it's going to be a little bit more expensive. The customer knows the food is likely to be good, knows the food is likely to be good, and as well from having a local reputation that this is the spot for this specific food, this specific Mexican food. Okay. And this is where we're getting somewhere, right? We're getting a little bit more into the specialization. Okay. And this is where I think a lot of agencies fall for a majority of it. Okay. And then from there, level 3 positioning, the final level of positioning. This is the premium Michelin star type restaurants, right? This is where we want to be positioned. Okay. Final level of positioning is where the customer knows exactly what they're seeking out. The business can fulfill on those specific desires and outcomes for the customer. Uh, and they're looking for the desires and outcomes the customer is looking for. And as a result, and is highly specialized. Okay. For example, we're now a Michelin starred French restaurant specializing in seafood, right? Ooh, that sounds good. Okay. So now we're talking. Okay. Do you think that this specific restaurant is cheap? Of course not. This is going to be an expensive restaurant that you're eating at. It's the best of the best. It's premium. People are ready to pay to go here. They'll even put in a reservation months in advance to be able to eat at a restaurant like this, right? So this is the type of positioning that we're specifically looking at. Do you want to be a Michelin star restaurant or do you want to be a McDonald's? Okay. Gotta get that positioning down so we can charge the premium, baby. Okay. And then positioning does not stop by doing this specific exercise and never revisiting it. Guys, you have to update it constantly. We constantly update our positioning within our agencies, within our consultancy. Okay. This is something that is regularly visited, at least quarterly for us, because we make adjustments and changes based off of our offering. Right. And so, got to be consistent with it. And it will be extremely beneficial for you guys. So, let's talk about some of the beneficial benefits of level 3 positioning, which I kind of mentioned already, but kind of makes you the go-to in the niche. Okay. So once again, how many of you guys have heard of an agency that specializes specifically in female entrepreneur organic content that have an underdog story? How many people have heard of an agency like that? I haven't. And I work with a lot of agencies. I get to see a lot of agencies on a regular basis. So how many people have heard of that, right? So you're the go-to in the niche. And I think that if I created this agency, I would be the go-to in the niche. Okay. You can also charge what you want. Okay. And maybe not what you want exactly, but at least what you're worth. And never be compared to someone who can do it for less. Because when we come to the table and a female entrepreneur comes into my agency that has an underdog story, right? And she's super ambitious. I was like, well, hey, this is who we work with. Like, you're meant to be in this specific agency, right? And when they compare you to another agency, okay, well, cool. Well, what do? Oh, they create organic content. Okay, for who? Oh, well, it seems for everyone. Oh, for everyone. Well, we just work with people like you. That becomes powerful. That becomes your competitive advantage, specifically in your niche, right? And then you start outbidding people. You start outselling your competition because you're positioned correctly. Okay. And then once again, reduces competition and unideal clientele. So immediately you're able to exit people that are not qualified, right? Sorry, like we just don't take on men. Just part of the game. See how that becomes powerful when you can say no to people? Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And Nicholas put a little warning label down here. As you go through this exercise, you'll have a hard time saying no to clients because when the money's in front of you, you want to say yes. But if you want to be niche down, if you want to charge what you want to charge, if you want to go fast, you got to stay within the niche. You got to stay specialized. Can't be a generalist anymore. Generalists don't work in the agency space. Used to be able to do it. Not anymore, though. Very difficult to win as a generalist in this space. Okay. And here's the thing. You don't have to stay there forever, right? You can expand outside of this at a certain point. But rule of thumb, as Alex Ramosi would often say, one niche, one offering to $1 million. Then you can expand. But until you get to $1 million, you can't expand. Not allowed. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways. We'd love to hear from you guys. That's it. That's all I got today. I will have more next week to build out on this. I'm literally going to build an entire agency. Literally, if someone's watching right now, you could literally steal this entire framework as I'm building it out and go and apply it to literally this identical agency. I can't guarantee it's going to get to $1 million because I don't know you personally, but I know I could get to $1 million. Okay. So, any questions on any of this stuff? Any questions, general questions that you guys might have? Boom. More questions. What were you saying about the book Essentialism? It was interesting. Yeah. Where is it? Right here. One of my favorite books, one of my most worn and torn books. Is this gonna focus? Wait, hold on. Let me switch off the whiteboard real quick. Bloop. There it is, right there. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Okay. One of my favorite books of all time. I make a lot of people in my life read this book if they struggle with focus, if they struggle with putting the first thing first. Okay. If we open up the book here, I'll show you where I got that graph from. None of this thinking is mine, by the way. I've learned from a lot of great people in my life, right? This is it right here. Okay. See, get a little focus there. Boom. Okay. That's what happens when you're not niched. Okay. That energy gets spread across too many different things. Okay. So, book Essentialism, really good. If you struggle with focus, if you struggle with staying dialed in on the one thing, that book is incredible. Highly recommend. I read it at least once a year because I think it's really great. Okay. Bo, what is your opinion on Chili's, the restaurant chain? It's incredible. Best business and business model to ever exist in the United States. Better than Amazon, better than Apple, all of the above. Meme game on point if you follow them on social media. That's what I think about Chili's. Honey Chipotle Chicken Crispers is really the only thing you need to get. What did you say? Chili's. You have to. Great question, Bo. Awesome, guys. Hey, well, I appreciate you guys coming by today. If you guys have more questions, feel free to shoot me DMs. You guys know where to find me. Okay. I know most of the people in here. I've seen you guys before. So shoot me DMs. Come hang out next week. We're going to continue to add on to this. You don't want to miss this journey. Okay. Oh, we got one more question. I'll answer this one and then I'm dipping because I'm hungry. I'm going to get something to eat. A lot of your points relate to those of Sam Ovens. Have you heard of him? Who? Who's Sam Ovens? Never heard of him. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Sam Ovens is great. I don't know if Sam Ovens teaches this stuff. Hopefully, he does. It's, in my opinion, it's pretty business basics. It's in a lot of books, right? I mean, it's in most business books. So, so with that being said, yes, Sam Ovens is one of the goats. He's one of the OGs, especially in the consulting space. Major respect for that guy. We've learned a lot from him and applied a lot of his techniques and tactics into our own business. So yeah, Sam Ovens is the goat. So just saw your channel today. Awesome. Faison, I'm curious, like, where did you see it? Did you see it on a specific, like, other channel and, like, brought you into YouTube? Did you just find us on, like, Discovery? Because that would be wild. I know, who found us on? Alyssa, you found us on YouTube. I know. Kind of wild. Kind of wild that we even have an audience. Curious where you kind of heard of us. So you guys, hopefully that's helpful stuff. It was a recommendation from another video. Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad we're getting recommended. That means we're doing an okay job at SEO. Well, ChatGPT is doing okay at SEO because that's where I write all my descriptions because I'm horrible at doing that stuff. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, come back next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. We do this every week, mostly every week. We'll let you know if it's not happening. You won't see the notification, right? But we do this almost every week, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Might start doing a little bit more soon. This is a pretty solid one today. There's a lot to cover in this specific topic, and we got other YouTube videos. Go check those out as well. And yeah, we're releasing more and more content. We are becoming a content firm, baby. Okay, so invest in your organic content this year. It'll take you guys places. Got to do it consistent though. All right, much love, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.